Hello and welcome to the chapter on list manipulation. This is the part 3 of this particular chapter, and in this part we are going to discuss about some functions related to list. So let's get started with our first function, which is the len or the length function. So what this function does, this function is used to find the length of a list. Length of a list means if I want to count the number of elements present in a particular list, then I'll take the help of the len function. So how do I use it? Let's see the syntax. The syntax of this particular function is len, then within bracket we need to enclose the list. So let's try to understand it with the help of some examples. So the first example is, let's consider a list X with the elements 11, 22, 33 and 44. Now if I want to count the number of elements in the list or specifically the length of the list, then how I will write it? I will write it as len of X. So what it will return? It will return how many elements are present in this list X. So it will return me the value of 4. Why 4? Because if I count it, it has 4 elements, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Let's take another example. Let's say I have a list Y with the elements as 23, Bob, 87.3. So if I want to find out the length of this list, I'll write len Y and I'll get the result as 3. Very simple, isn't it? So let's try to show it to you practically also. So let's take a list, let's say 9, 55, 44 and 22. If I want to find out the length of this list, simply I'll type len of the list. The list is stored in the variable X, so I have directly given the variable X here. So as I press the enter key, it will return the number of elements present in this list X. Let's move on to the next function, which is the list function. Now what this function does, this function is used to create a list from an existing sequence type. So let's say we have certain sequences like list, string, tuple or dictionary, and we want to convert it into a list. Then this is achieved with the help of list function. It converts an existing sequence like string, tuple or dictionary into a list. Okay, so it converts each item or character of the sequence into a list. So in a sequence, there may be one character also, there may be more than one character or items also. So what this function will do, it will convert each and every character or item into a list. The existing sequence can be a string, tuple or a dictionary, which we have already seen just now. Let's see the syntax of this. We have a very simple syntax of this, which is list, and within bracket we need to pass the sequence which we want to convert it into a list. Let's try to understand with the help of some examples. So the first example is, if I use the function list and within that if I pass India, it falls under what sequence? It falls under string. So as I press the enter key, each character of the string India will be converted into a list. So as you can see, there are 5 elements in this list, and those are the 5 characters from the string India. Let's try to take a different sequence, which is a tuple now. So what is this? This is a tuple. Now if I enclose it within the list function, what it will do? It will simply convert it into a list. I can even take a dictionary as in this example. Now here dictionary has key is to value pairs. A, B and C are the keys, apple, ball and cat are the values. Now what the list function will do, list function will convert only the keys into a list, okay, not the values. Remember this thing, only the keys of the dictionary will be converted into a list. The dictionary is dealt in detail in a different chapter separately known as dictionary. Alright, so I can like practically implement it and see. So if I give list and let's say I give here as India, so what it will do, it will convert each and every character into a list. I can use even a tuple, let's say 11, 22 and 33. So it will convert it into a list. Similarly, you can try the same thing with dictionary. Dictionary will also give the same result as expected with the keys as the elements of the list. So let's move ahead to the next function, which is the append function. Now what do we mean by append? Append means adding something to the end of something. So what does it do with respect to list? This function is used to add an item to the end of an existing list. If I already have a list and I want to add one item at the end of the list, then I'll take the help of append function. As we will go for the programming on list and in various other cases, this function is one of the most important function and it is used very frequently in the programs. So what it does, it adds one element to the list at a time. This one is very important. More than one elements you cannot include within the append function. Only one element can be added at a time. It does not return any value as the output. After adding one element, it will not return any value. Okay. So what is the syntax? The syntax goes as follows: list name dot append, and within braces we need to put the item that is to be added as an argument. Let's try to understand with the help of an example. So let's say we have a list X with the elements as 11 and 22. Let's say I want to add one new element called 33 after 22. Then how I'll do it? I'll do it with the help of this syntax, which is list name. What is the list name in this case? It is X dot append, and within bracket I'll put the item that I want to add at the end of this list X. So how do I see the updated list? By typing X again. You can also give print X. So it will return the new list as 11, 22 and 33. Let's try to see another example. Now let us take an empty list Y. As we already have seen from the first part of this particular chapter, we can create an empty list in this manner. Now if I want to add some elements into this empty list, what I can do? I can take the help of the append function. Now let's say I want to add one element 99 into this list. How I'll do it? I'll use this syntax, that is Y, that is a list name, dot append. Which element do I want to add in this empty list? I want to add the element 99. So 99 will be passed as an argument to the append function. So as I press Y again, I'll see the updated list. Let's say I want to add one more element called Raj after 99. Then again I'll use the same syntax, list name, that is Y dot append Raj. So if I want to see the updated list, again I'll press Y and then I'll get the updated list. Let's try to see it with the help of an example. Let's say X equals to 11, 22 and Bob. Okay, let's say I want to add one more name to the end of this list, which is Alice. Use the syntax list name, which is X in this case, dot append. I want to add a name called Alice. It is a string, so I'll enclose it within quotes and enter. Now if I want to see the updated list, I'll just type X, or even if I do print X, I'll get the same list. So basically it adds one element to the end of this existing list. Let's move ahead to the next function, which is the extend function. Now what if I want to add multiple elements at a time to a list? Then that is achieved with the help of the extend function. What this function does? This function is used to add multiple elements, means more than one element to the end of an existing list. What it does? It can add multiple elements to the list at a time. So if you want to add more than one element to the list at a single time, then you will take the help of the extend function. It does not return any value as the output. Similar to the append function, it will not return any value as the output. If you want to see the updated list, you either need to type in the list or print the list. So let's see the syntax. Syntax is similar to the append function. List name dot extend, and within braces will be passing on the list. So let us consider a list X with the elements as 11 and 22. Now if I want to add 3 new elements into this list, let's say 99, 88 and 77. Now how will I write it? I'll write it as follows. I'll write x dot extend, and then the new element, the new set of elements should also be passed as a list. So I want to add 99, 88 and 77. So after doing it, if I want to see the updated list, I'll simply press X and the enter key. So you will see that we already had the elements 11 and 22, and along with that these three new elements, that are 99, 88 and 77, are also being appended at the end of this list. So what is the difference between append and extend? Append is used to add a single element to a list at a time, but multiple elements, if you want to add multiple elements to a list at a single time, then you will take the help of the extend function. Now let's consider an empty list Y and another list called Z. Let's say I want to append all the elements of Z into the list Y at a single time. Then what I'll use? I'll be using the function extend. By the syntax, list name. List means the target list where I want to add. I don't want to add in Z, I want to add in Y. So Y dot extend, I want to extend the elements of Z. So either you could have passed this values or you can pass the variable Z. So here I am passing the variable Z. So if I press Y again, now I'll get a new list with the updated elements. That is Elise 45 and 87.3. Let me quickly show one example related to this one. Let's say I have this list X and I have one list, say let's say Y equals to 99, 88. Now to Y I want to extend the elements of X. So how I'll do that? I'll do it simply like list name. List name is the target list where I want to add the new elements. List name dot extend. I want to extend which elements? The elements in the list X. So simply pressing the enter key and typing Y will get you the updated list. See, the previous elements are there. Along with that, all the elements of the list X are also being added to the list Y. This is how we use the extend function. Now let us see the difference between append function and extend function. We already know it, just let us see it in points. Append function, what it does, it adds a single element to the end of an existing list. So if I want to add a single element, means one element to the end of an existing list, I'll be taking help of the append function. But if I want to add multiple elements to the end of an existing list, then I'll be taking the help of the extend function. Let's see one more example again of each category. So if I have a list X with the elements as 11 and 22, now if I write X dot append 33, then 33 will be appended to the end of the list X. Alright, what is now if I do one more thing, if I have another list called X with the same elements, and if I write X dot extend 99, 88 and 77, then what will happen? As I press X, the new elements are being extended to the end of this list X. So one is for a single element, other is for multiple elements. Next point, we can say it as follows. It takes the value of the item as an argument. Now here I have typed in 33. This is what? This is the value of the item as an argument. What extend does? It takes a list as an argument. Now what it takes? What is 99, 88 and 77? It is a list. So append takes the value of the item as an argument, while extend takes the list as an argument. Alright, let's move ahead and see the next function, which is the insert function. Now if I want to add a single element at a time, but as per our desired position, then what I'll do? Then I'll take the help of the insert function. So what this function does? This function is used to insert a single element at any desired position as per the programmer's choice. Now if using the append or the extend function will add the elements at the end of the list, But what if I want to add an element at the second position or fifth position or any other position for that matter? Then I'll be taking the help of the insert function. Just like the other inserting functions, it also does not return any value. Now it has a syntax. Let us see the syntax. The syntax goes as follows. We need to specify the list name dot insert, and then within braces we need to put the index where we want the item, followed by the item separated by comma. Okay, let's try to understand with the help of an example. So if I have a list X with the elements as 11, 22, 33 and 55. Now let's say at the index 3, means 11 has the index 0, 22 has the index 1, 33 has the index 2, and after that 55 has the index 3. But at this position I want to add a new element, let's say 44. Now how will I write it? Pay attention to this syntax which says list name. What is the list name where I want to insert the new element? It is X dot insert. Then within bracket what I need to do? I need to specify the index. At which position do I want the new element? I want it at the index 3, comma item. What is the item that I want to insert? It is 44. So let's insert 44. After that, if I type X and press the enter key, what will happen? 44 will be added, but at which index? At the index 3. Now what will happen to 55? Will it get erased? No, it will not get erased. It will simply be pushed to the right hand side, and it will make the gap for the new element. Which is the new element here? The new element here is 44. Alright. Now let us try to insert one more element, Bob, at the index 1. How will I do that? List name, that is X dot insert. The index I want to insert at the first index, so 1, comma the item to be inserted. Which item do I need to insert here? I want to insert the item Bob. So I have specified Bob within quotes. Now as I press the X, what will happen? You will find that Bob is being inserted at the index 1. If you count it 0, 1. Alright. So if I want to add element at any desired position as per my choice, then I'll be taking help of the insert function. Let's see some special cases related to the insert function, which are, let's say we have a list called Y with the elements as 11, 22 and 33. Now if I want to add an element at the beginning means what is the index? It is 0. So what I'll do? I'll write list name, that is Y dot insert, and then I want to add the new element Elise at the index 0, means at the beginning of the list. So then what it does? It will add an element at the beginning of the list. Let's see the updated value. Just type in Y and press the enter key, and I'll get the new list with the element as Elise, 11, 22 and 33. Now if I want to add an element at the end of the list, we know for that we have the append function, but let's say you want to do it with insert function. Then how will I do it? I'll use this syntax, list name dot insert, then length of the list. Length of the list means here length of the list is 4, means at the fourth index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. I want to insert the element 77. So if I do that, it will add an element at the end of the list. In order to see the updated value, just type in Y and press the enter key. Then I'll see a new list with the updated value as 77. Now here in the last example, what I have done it, I have put a negative index, but an invalid negative index. Now if I put an invalid negative index, what will happen? It will prepend the element. Prepend means it will add that element but at the beginning of the list. Okay, which element? 44 in this case. Let's see the answer. So if I type in Y, I'll get 44 Elise, 11, 22, 33 and 77. The other elements were already existing. Here minus 10 index is given, but do I have the index minus 10? Let's check it. Minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4 and minus 5. We only have negative index till minus 5. Do I have minus 10 as the index? No, it is an invalid negative index. But will it show any error? No, it will not show any error. What it will do? Invalid negative index prepends the element. Prepends means it will put it at the very beginning of the list. So that's all about the insert function. Let's go to the next function, which is the index function. Now, if I want to find the index of the first occurrence of a specified element, then I'll take the help of the index function. So what this function does? This function is used to find the index of the first occurrence of a particular element. What is the syntax for that? The syntax is list name dot index, and within bracket I'll put the element. So let's say I have a list x equals to 11, 22, 33 and 44. Now if I type in x dot index 33, what it will return? It will return the index of 33. Now what is the index of 33? It is 0, 1, 2. As you can see, it will return the index of 33. Now if we have an element, let's say I want to find the index of 22, but 22 occurs 2 times. But look at the definition, it will return the index of the first occurrence of the specified element. So that particular element of which we want to find the index, it may occur more than one time, but it will return the index of the first occurrence only. So what is the index of the first occurrence of 22? It is 0, 1. So as I press the enter key, it will give me the result as 1. Let's check it with some practical examples. Let's say I'll give a equals to 11, 22, 33, 44 and 22 again. Now if I give list name, which is a dot index, let's say I'll put 22 here and press the enter key, it will return me 1, 0, 1. Now if I give an invalid element, let's say a dot index, let's say 99. Is 99 present in this particular list? No, it is not present in this list. So as I press the enter key, it will give me an error known as value error. What it will say? It will say that 99 is not in the list. So if you specify an element which is not present in the list, it will give you an error known as value error. Let's move ahead with the next function, which is the pop function. What it does? This function is used to remove an element from a list as per the index passed as argument. So if you want to remove an element from a list, then what you will do? You will take the help of a function known as pop function. So it will remove an element from a list. If I do not pass any index to this particular list, what will happen? If I do not pass any index, it will simply remove the last item in the list. So let's see it. It returns the value removed by the function. So whatever value will be removed, it will return that particular value. We need not check the list again, just like append or extend or insert functions. So what's the syntax for that? The syntax is list name dot pop, and then within braces we need to specify the index. Here index is optional. If we do not specify the index, what it will do? It will simply remove the last item in the list. Let's go ahead and take some examples to understand the pop function better. So let's say I want to remove the element 33. What is the index of 33? The index of 33 is 2 or minus 3. Alright, so this is the list which I have already shown here. If I type in list name, that is x dot pop 2, then the element at index number 2 will be removed, and whatever element is removed, it will be shown as I press the enter key. Let's take a negative index. If I type in x dot pop minus 2, what it will remove? It will remove the element present at the index -2, that is 11 will be removed. Now if I see the updated list, I will get only 22, 44 and Bob. In the first pop function 33 was removed, in the second pop function 11 was removed. So we are left with only 3 elements, that are 2, 44 and Bob. Got it? Now if I type in x.pop, see here no index is passed. So what it will remove? It will simply remove the last item from the list. What is the last item from this list? It is Bob. So Bob will be removed from the list. So if I see the updated list again, it will be remaining with the values 2 and 44 only, because Bob has already been removed. So remember that if no index is passed, last value will be removed. Here no index is passed, hence last value is removed. Alright, we can check it out for ourselves. So this is one list called A. So if I write A dot pop 2, the element at the index 2, that is 33, 0, 1, 2, 33 will be removed. See the updated list, it does not contain 33. If I do not pass any argument, if I simply write A dot pop, it will remove the last item, that is 22. If I want to see the updated list, simply type in A and press the enter key, and it will remove the element 22 and show you the updated list. Let's take up the next function, which is the remove function. What this function does? This function is used to remove the first occurrence of a given item from a list. Okay, if I want to remove an element with respect to a value, it can be done using the remove function. Remember, in pop we removed an item with respect to an index, but if I want to remove an item with respect to a value, then I will be taking the help of the remove function. It does not return the value removed by the function. Whatever value is removed by the function, it will not return that particular value. It fetches an error, value error, if the passed item is not present in the list. If I try to remove such an element which is not even present in the list, then it will return an error called value error. Let's see the syntax of remove function, which is list name dot remove, and within braces we need to specify what? We need to specify the value. Let's take up some examples. So let's say I have a list x equals to 11, 22, 33, 44 and 55. So if I type in x dot remove 33, then the element 33 will be removed, but it will not return the value. So if you want to see the updated list, you need to type x again, and it will show you the updated list. Now in that updated list, this element 33 will not be present. Now if I type in such a value which is not even present in the list, let's say 99. So if I type in x dot remove 99, can you see the element 99 in this list? No, it's not present there. So it will give me an error known as value error. So see, it will say that x is not in the list. Now let's take up another example. Here we have 33 twice. But if I write x dot remove 33, only the first occurrence of 33 will be gone, but the second occurrence of 33 is still there. Read the first line of the definition. This function is used to remove the first occurrence of a given item from a list. Even if there are multiple elements, only the first occurrence is removed. Here I tried to remove 33, but both 33 are not removed. Only the first occurrence of 33 is being removed. Now I can test it here. If I write a dot remove 22, it will simply remove the element 22. If I write a dot remove 99, 99 is not even present here, so it will return that it is not present in the list. Let's move ahead and continue with our next function, which is the clear function. What this function does? This function is used to remove all the items from the list. If I want to simply clear the list, like removing all the items from the list, I'll take the help of the clear function. the list becomes an empty list after this function. If I use the clear function, after using it, the list will become an empty list, means nothing will be present in the list. This function does not return any value. It will not return any value to the user. What the syntax says? The syntax says list name dot clear. No argument also it will take. It will simply clear up everything in the list. So if I have a list x equals to 11, 22, 33 and 44 and I want to clear up this list, I'll simply write list name, that is x dot clear. As I press x, it will simply clear up all the elements from this list x. Now the list will still exist as an empty list. How to prove it? So if I try to append one element to this list, let's say by the syntax x dot append 99, let's say one more element called 88, x dot append 88. After that, if I type in x, it will return 99 and 88. So what clear function does, it will simply clear up all the data or all the items from the list, but it will not remove the list itself. The list will still exist as an empty list. Let's try to see as an example. Let's say this is a list A. If I want to clear it up, I'll put a dot clear and the list is cleared up, but the list still exists as an empty list. If I type in A, it will still be shown. Now if I try to, let's say, append one element, let's say 99, then you can see that the list has been appended with the element 99. Had it been completely removed, then I would not have been able to append the element 99 here. Alright, now let's go to a more drastic command as compared to clear, which is the del statement. So if you want to remove all the items from the list along with the list itself, then I'll take the help of the del statement. It's not a function, it's a statement. So this statement is used to remove all the items from the list along with the list itself. So actually we are discussing some functions related to list, but since it is related, I have put it here itself. Alright. So this statement is used to remove all the items from the list along with the list itself. It will remove not only the items but also the list. Alright. The list does not exist at all after using this function. After I use this function, the list will not even exist. No new element can be added to the list after using del statement. Obviously, since the list only will not exist, how can I add new element here? I won't be able to add any new element after using the del statement. So the syntax is del list name. So let's say I have this list x with these elements. If I simply type del x and then type x again, it will put an error called name error, called name x is not defined. Why it will show name x is not defined? Because prior to putting x, I have already put del x. So there the list, the elements of the list along with the structure of the list is being removed. Therefore, it is showing me an error called name error. Now this function has another variation. Now if I want to remove a particular element, then also this function can be used. So for removing a particular element from a list also, del function can be used. How to use it? Del list name, and within the third bracket I'll have to specify the index. So let's consider a list y with the elements 11, 22, 33 and 44. Now if I want to remove 33, what is the index of 33? 0, 1, 2. So if I simply type del y2, it will remove 33. So in order to see the updated list, just type in y and it will return an updated list for you. Alright, let's try to implement and see it. Let's say x equals to 11, 22, 33, 44, 55. At first I'll show you the second variation, that is, let's say I want to remove 44. del x, what is the index of 44? 0, 1, 2, 3. You can use the negative index also, that is -2, but let's use the positive index, that is 3. And after that, if you type in x, then it will be shown. by removing 44. Now let's say I want to remove 33 only, but by using negative index. That can also be done. del x, what is the index of 33? Negative index -1 -2. So as I press the enter key and x, now you will find the list does not contain the element 33. If I want to remove the list completely along with the structure, I'll simply type in del x. As I press x, now it is not even able to recognize x, and it is saying that x is not defined. Why x is not defined? Because I have used the del statement, which removes not only the elements of the list but also the list structure itself. So let's quickly see the difference between del and clear. Clear, what it does? Clear is used to remove all the elements from a list, but del statement is used to remove a specific item or all items of a list. There are two variations of del, specific items or all items, but there is no variation of clear. It will simply clear up all the items from the list. An example, this is a list. If I type in x.clear, it will simply clear up the list. But if I have the same list and I use it with del y2, then the element at the index 2, that is 0, 1, 2, 33 will be removed. So if I type in y, you will get the new list but with 33 removed. The second difference is the list becomes empty after application of this function. So after applying this function, the list will exist but it will be an empty list. So if I type in x, the list still exists as an empty list. But here the entire structure of the list is removed after using this statement. So if I type in del x and after that x, it will not even recognize x now because it has removed the structure along with the elements. Let's move ahead with the next function, which is the count function. So what it does, this function is used in order to display the number of occurrences of a particular element from a list. So how many times a particular element has occurred, if I want to see it, I'll simply take the help of the count function. If the item passed as argument is not present in the list, it returns 0. So whatever you want to return the number of occurrences, if the item is only not present, then it will return what? It will return 0. Let's see the syntax. The syntax goes as follows. List name dot count, within braces you need to specify the item which you want to count. So let's say this is the list. If I type in x.count 22, it will count how many times 22 has occurred. As we can see here, highlighted by red boxes, 22 occurs 2 times, so it will return the result as 2. If I type in x.count 44, 44 occurs how many times? Only 1 time in this list, so it will return 1. So if I type in such an element which is not even present, like 77, if I type in x.count 77, go through this list, do you find 77 anywhere here? No. So it will return 0. Look at the second point. If the item passed as an argument is not present in the list, what it will return? It will return 0. Alright, let's show it to you practically. Let's say y equals to 11, 22, 33, 22, 55. So if I type y.count 22, 22 occurs 2 times, so it is returning 2. Y.count, let's say 99, it doesn't even occur, so it will return as 0. Alright, let's go to the next function called the reverse function. So from the name only we can see that what it will do, it will simply reverse the items of the list. Alright, so this function is used in order to reverse the items of a list. The syntax goes as follows. List name dot reverse function. So let's say we have a list x with these elements. If I want to reverse it, I'll simply type in x dot reverse. And as I press x, it will simply reverse the items of the list. So 88 was at the last, it will come at the first. 11 was at the first, it will come at the last, and so on. The order will be reversed. It will not be arranged in ascending or descending order, not those stuffs. It will simply reverse the entire list. For example, here we have the list y. If I want to reverse it, simply I will type y dot reverse and y. So it will simply reverse the list. Last item came to the first item came to the last, and so on. 22 was at the second position, it will now come at the second last position. Alright, let's move ahead with the next function known as the sort function. Now what is the meaning of sort? Sort means to arrange in ascending or descending order. So this function will also do exactly the same thing. This function is used to arrange the elements of a list in ascending or descending order. The default sort order is ascending order. If you do not specify, it will be sorted in the ascending order. What it does, it modifies the original list. It will change the original list permanently. The syntax goes as follows: list name dot sort function. This is for ascending order, but if you want it in descending order, you need to specify an argument called reverse equals to true. So if I type in list name dot sort reverse equals to true, then it will be sorted for descending order. So let's say I have a list X with these elements. So if I type in X dot sort, what it will do? It will sort the elements of this list in ascending order. As you can see here, 22, 44, 66, 75 and 99. Previously the original list was not sorted in any order, and it has modified the original list. Now if I want to sort it in descending order, I have to type in X dot sort within bracket reverse equals to true. So if I type in X, now you will find the new list, but that will be arranged in what order? That will be arranged in descending order. Let's move ahead to the next function, which is the sorted function. Now this function will also arrange the elements of a list in ascending or descending order. Here also the default order is ascending, but the main difference between sort and sorted function is that it does not modify the original list. It will be just for viewing, but not for modifying the original list. But sort function, what it did, it modified the original list also. It will be more clear as we go to the differences. So the syntax is simple: sorted, and within bracket we need to specify the list. This is for the ascending order. For descending order, we'll have to type sorted within bracket the list, comma, reverse equals to true. This is the syntax for descending order. So let's say we have the list X. This is the list. If I type in sorted X, what it will do? It will simply return this list in what order? In the ascending order. And then if I type in X, what you will find? You will find the original list only. So has the original list been modified? No, it is not being modified. But had I used the sort function, the original list would also have been modified. That's the difference between sort and sorted function. Very important questions from examination point of view also. You should be very clear with these differences. Hence, I have put the differences wherever it is required. So, if I type in sorted X comma reverse equals to true, what it will do? It will sort the items but in descending order. If I type in X, what I'll get? I'll get the original list only, because sorted function does not modify the list permanently. So let's quickly see the difference between sort and sorted function. Sort function arranges the elements in an order and modifies the original list. It will sort, but along with sorting, it will modify the original list. So this is the list. If I type in X dot sort and then X again, what you will find? You will find that the original list is being modified. But in case of sorted, it arranges the elements in an order but does not modify the original list. So I am taking the same list. If I type in sorted X, it will be displayed. The list will be sorted and it will be displayed. But if I type in X, the original list will remain as it is, because sorted function does not modify the original list. Sort function does not return the result, but sorted function returns the result after using the function. As you can see, after putting x dot sort, even after I press the enter key, it will not return anything. But as I press the enter key, after typing sorted x, it will return the sorted list. That's the difference between sort function and sorted function. Let's move ahead to the next set of functions, that are the max and min function. These are pretty similar functions. So what I have done, I have put it together. So max function is used in order to return the element having the highest value out of the given elements. So if we have a set of elements and I want to find out the highest value of the elements, then I'll be using the max function. Similarly, if I want to find out the element having the lowest value, then I'll be using the min function. Very simple syntax is max list for finding out the highest value and min list for finding out the lowest value. So let's say I have a list x, and if I type in max of x, then whatever is the highest value from this list, which is 99 in this case, will be displayed. If I type in min x, whatever is the lowest value from this list, which is 33 in this case, will be displayed. So we can see from here. So this is the list y. Let's say if I type in max y, the highest value, that is 55, will be displayed. Similarly, min y, that is the lowest value, that is 11, will be displayed from the list. Alright, let's move ahead to the last function as per the syllabus, that is sum function. So from the name only we can understand what this function will do. This function is used to add all the elements of the list and return the result. So if I want to add up all the elements from the list, then I'll take the help of the sum function. What is the syntax? The syntax is sum list. So if I have a list y as 7, 2 and 5, if I want to see the added value or the sum of these values, I'll simply type in sum y and it will return me the result as 14. Just add up 7 plus 5 plus 2, it is how much? It is 12 plus 2, it is 14. Yes. So if I simply, so this is the list y. If I want to find the added result of y, I'll simply type in sum of y and it will return you by adding up all the values of the list y. Alright, so that's all for the day. I hope that this session was useful. Thank you very much.